You're about to listen to TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games. It's a comedy video game podcast. We would like to stress that the hosts are not experts and are really just very crass commentators. Seriously, this is an explicit podcast that happens to talk about video games sometimes. So please enjoy this pretty okay podcast with Tyler and Dave.
Hello, Internet. Just, welcome. We three here bid you welcome. Sit a while and listen.
No, don't get anyone's hopes up. We are not talking about Diablo.
yeah, that's true. It's TADPOG.
Yeah.
Just, it's a show, Tyler and Dave play old games.
Yeah.
So we playing some old games.
Yeah. You came prepped with this intro, I
did.
Ready to roll.
It's been a weird day.
Yeah.
It's been a weird day. So I am further complicating the day with Sprite Zero, cranberry juice, and vanilla Crown. So
Sounds like you're fixing the day.
yeah, we'll see. So what we do here, we make a little podcast. Mm-hmm. We've done a lot of retro video games, and now we've stumbled upon like bringing it back home.
Yeah.
We're gonna play through. It started Super Nintendo, and now we're gonna just finish all the Super Nintendo games.
Doing it all. It's going to take us a long time.
And through this, we have channeled the god, the randomizer. All hail the randomizer.
All hail the
randomizer.
Who will help navigate us, give us a perfect path through the Super Nintendo.
The randomizer works in mysterious ways.
Very mysterious ways.
It is unknowable.
Yeah.
it is unknowable.
As has been, it's evidenced by twice now, Tyler, you've mentioned before the randomizer gave us the boon that is pro sport hockey. You made a hockey reference, and then so it came to be. And on the last episode, you mentioned Step Dadaroth, aka Sandwich Pope Phil.
Step Dadaroth.
And the randomizer bestowed us with Might and Magic 3, which made both you and I think of
Because we knew immediately.
Sandwich Pope Phil.
So go ahead, Phil.
What's even more bizarre was when you guys were recording this, I had sent you a message saying, "Hey, we don't get a chance to hang out very much as a result of being 2,000 miles away. I'd love to be on the show more. Can I send you some games that I have that I'd be on the show for?" And while that was going on, that's when the randomizer had randomly picked out a game that I happen to own, which is for what this game is, Might and Magic 3 Isles of Terra. That is a bizarre ass coincidence. Which you know what? I fully believe in the randomizer and its unknowable, unearthly powers. All hail the randomizer. It is my new deity.
All hail the randomizer.
Come touch the holes in its hands, for it'll show you. Yeah, so Might and Magic 3, the Isles of Terra.
The Isles of Terra. Not terror. Terra.
Well, because I feel like, okay, we said we were going to start off with the list. We're going to do the Super Nintendo games. And we
What
picked.
do you mean? IGN's list?
Well, no.
You're talking about the beginning times?
No, the now times.
Okay. The randomizer. The age of the randomizer.
The age of how many seasons would you say TADPOG has been?
One.
One
season.
We're like Power Rangers. One season, 505 episodes.
Yeah. Well, this is I mean, have we?
Well, chapters. Like I think the IGN's Super Nintendo list, that's a chapter of TADPOG.
I see.
The N64 list,
N64.
that's a chapter.
Yeah.
Genesis.
Chapter.
NES.
Yeah, because we did the NES Classic. So I guess now we're bringing it back to another chapter.
Chapter 1, Part 2.
The biggest chapter.
We did Chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're Chapter 1,
Now
Part 2.
we're back. Now you're opening a page and it says tearing again after such a long time. So, because I feel like at the very first game, like, well, we'll choose it. We'll do Star Fox 2. We defied the randomizer. We didn't even know it would be our god yet.
Yeah, we hadn't found it.
We chose. And then decided, okay, randomizer. And randomizer was like, foolish boys. You chose your first game, so now I will punish you.
Right, yeah. That's what happens when you dabble in the social circles that a god runs in.
So he's just like, let me see through. Roger Clemens MVP baseball.
Right.
Here.
Yes, feast children.
But it was a double-edged sword because we had Chris Black on. That's one of my favorite episodes ever.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
So then, then the randomizer, because they gave us a boon, right? In that
Power Rangers.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Like, here's a hidden gem.
Right.
You've succeeded my first trial.
Right.
Here are the
You have
rewards.
pleased me, mortals.
So-
Bathe in the Power Rangers.
So I make a hockey reference, like, I must show you proof that I am real. Hockey. Hockey, no one's
Look,
heard of.
I have faith in the randomizer. It didn't need to show me that it was real.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
Then it's just like, I'll just hope it's not a sports game. Well, here's a game based on a 90s cartoon for you gentlemen. Here you go. It's like, I sure miss Phil. Well, you've been dedicated so far, Tyler and Dave. Here, a game that I assure you only Phil has and plays in the entire TADPOG Nation.
Might and Magic 3.
Fuck yeah.
The Isles of Terra.
So do you try and tempt fate and influence the randomizer by suggesting something at the beginning of the show? Or
Yeah, I think that could be a fun game.
Yeah, we don't know. Are we requesting or are we just taunting it? It has to punish us.
We are
don't
not.
know.
We are not taunting it.
foolish mortals.
Well, let's also be fair. We've already done over 100 games for the Super Nintendo. We've done an episode on over 100 games, so it's like the randomizer's only got a limited resource of games to dole out.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? It's like it's hard to be like the randomizer's kind of a dick sometimes because the randomizer's just like, hey man, this is all I got.
Yes.
You already played Donkey Kong Country. I got fucking Might and Magic 3. You want
If
that?
I went beyond this, it would crush you, mortals. So
Right?
Look, dog, I have 80 different sports titles for the Super Nintendo to get through.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a painful journey.
It is going to be a pain. That is because that number is accurate, right?
Yeah, well, it's close. I think it's actually more than that. I was trying to count through just by searching football, basketball, baseball, and hockey, but I wasn't counting golf. I wasn't counting tennis, boxing. It's gonna be.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that the unbeknownst first plague in the Bible was actually Roger Clemens MVP baseball raining down from the skies, and we're in for it.
I do want to say something because you mentioned King Arthur not too long ago. I feel like I forgot about a game when I was comparing King Arthur to like Cool World. I forgot about Home Improvement for the Super Nintendo because there was a time, like I think on last episode, I was like, the worst game for the Super Nintendo was Cool World. It's definitely Home Improvement. I forgot about it.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. I forgot about it.
Well, I'm your beard host, Tyler, and I said it's been a weird day because I had a weird work day. I messed something up, so I'm dealing with the ramifications of that, and I just feel like I haven't been able to get enough sleep lately.
As you blink.
As I blink the sweat out of my eyes since
Oh,
we turned
boy.
off the AC, so it's already getting to me. I think I'm gonna take these pants off.
Go for it, baby. Show me what you got.
There we go.
That's pretty good pant taking off Foley. Pant? Short pant?
It is one pant.
Yeah.
You need like an accountant visor to keep the sweat out of your eyes.
Yeah, I kind of do. But I was driving home, listening to my book, which is very, very good.
What book?
Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson.
Oh, okay.
It's gifted to me by Matt Gentile because he saw, I think Turnout was talking about reading another book. I've been on a Brandon Sanderson binge lately.
He's one of your favorite authors,
Oh
right?
yeah, because I read Skyward, which Skyward was again like fan-fucking-tastic. Right into Warbreaker. We're at Elantris first. Elantris was amazing, then Skyward, and then now I'm reading Warbreaker. Warbreaker took me a little bit to get into, but now I'm really, really enjoying it. And I forgot what my point of doing that was.
You were listening to it. You were talking about how your day was.
I was listening to it, kind of like tired and kind of just emotionally, kind of like ugh. So I get a message from Artsy AJ who's just like, "Hey, can you bring some food home?" I'm like, "Sure. What do you want?" Tacos. Okay. So
We have tacos at home. Image of folded bread with cheese in the middle. This is a new thing I do called audio memes.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Love it. TM.
Yeah, yeah. Trademark audio memes. Don't worry, I'll be sprinkling this podcast full of them.
And so I go through the Taco John's line, get her two soft shell tacos, a Sprite, or a Mish Twist. I'm sorry, Mish Twist.
What is a Miss Twist?
I guess like Sierra Mist was getting too old, so they had to jazz it up for the millennials. So now it's Miss Twist.
And she ain't married to no man.
No.
Miss Twist.
Miss Twist. Potato Lay's nacho cheese and dipping sauce. That's what she likes. So, like, give her my debit card. I pay for it. I get the Sprite, put it in my center console, and drive off. And then, because, like, I just completely oblivious. Just like, oh, there you go. Well, there's a drink. So I definitely got that for her. All right, check that off the list. I was in a weird, like, hungry, not hungry, like, I drove around South Side Paducah, like, what do I want to eat? I don't fucking know. Nothing sounds
The south
good.
side of our town is like the worst because it is like, it has a whole bunch of restaurants, but they are all restaurants you don't want to eat.
Yep. Yep. So, like, I was like, I haven't had Sonic in a while. So I drove up to the Sonic drive-thru, looked at the menu.
One drink with a tampon in it, please, is what you ordered.
Welcome to Sonic. What can I get you? Nothing. And I just drove off.
Really?
Yeah.
Sir, do you need help? Do you need to talk to somebody? Sir, please come back.
Maybe. I don't know. So then I drove over to Wendy's, and I was like, yeah, okay, well, spicy chicken, that usually doesn't fail me. Spicy chicken. Got my spicy chicken meal, and I start to pull off. I get
I like that.
out of town, and it's just like, why do I only have one bag? And then I have no memory of getting the Taco John's. Oh, so I turn around close to your house and go back to Taco John's. Nearly getting a wreck on the way over there.
I almost got in a wreck yesterday.
Yeah. How'd you get in your wreck?
Someone ran a stoplight on Jackson Street.
That's way
and they
worse.
were in a big white Tahoe. And I saw them coming fast out of the corner of my eye. And thank God the Celica was feeling like going when I pressed the accelerator, because like they probably missed me by about, no exaggeration, about 6 inches. It was one of those where it's like it happened. I pulled over and I sent Nikki a text that just said, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I love you."
We need to have sex like that one time again.
Right, yeah.
So as soon as I said, oh, well, I'm going to have to walk in. I don't want to wait through the drive.
What happened with your almost wreck?
Whenever I was pulling into Taco John, somebody just like, yield sign? Nah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep going.
Uh-huh.
So I decided to like gun it into the Taco John's parking lot. And I get out. As soon as I walk in, the cashier looks over. The guy who pulled off without his food's back.
And everyone applauded.
And the manager looked so fucking pissed. She was like,
We just threw that
2
food away.
tacos, potato lays. And I just stand there like, sorry, long day. People do that all the time. It's okay. The manager still like grumbles about it, grabs it, and hands it to her.
You should have said,
the cashier hands it back to me.
You should have said, but I bet not as often as you forget the food.
That's true. It's like the last time I was in Taco John's, I went to the Taco John's in Benton to get RCAJ some tacos.
Yeah.
And I was wearing my chef whites when I went in there. And like I ordered my
that is a
food.
chef costume, right?
Right, chef costume.
Right.
And then,
Hat and everything?
No.
Okay. What is the red thing? The scarf thing? Is that an ascot?
An ascot, yeah.
Were you wearing a red ascot?
Nope.
Man.
I wore a blue one when I was in Sullivan, but it's not standard uniform you see very often. And then, because as soon as she hands me my food to leave, I went inside because the drive-thru was backed up. And she's like, "Are you a chef?" I'm like, "Sorta." Like, no, I'm not really practicing, but every now and then. She's like, "Oh, that's so cool." And I didn't mean to be shitty. I went, huh, "Not really." And like, she looked so like, fine. I was like, "Oh, well, I'm not coming back to this Taco John's anymore."
Your band, there's actually, they printed out on a letter-sized sheet of paper like a crude drawing of a man in a chef costume.
The manager and I see the words that she says to them. I ban thee and disappear outside.
Do not serve this man.
But yeah, then I just went home and just sort of like lazily ate my my spicy chicken while watching Late Night with Seth Meyers clips and Stephen Colbert clips until you got here.
And
all right.
And here we are now recording a podcast.
Yeah, and this game's only going to make it better to talk about.
Yeah, I'm picking up some pretty negative vibes from you about Might and Magic 3.
Oh, but I'm in such a positive place right now.
Yeah. Sweat in your eyes.
Sitting here in my underwear in a garage, drinking cranberry juice and Crown.
It'll be fun.
I'm just curious what the randomizer is going to pull from that story for the next week's game. Is it going to be Super Alfred Chicken based on the chicken sandwich?
Please, God.
Is it going to be John Madden Football based on Taco John's?
No.
Ooh.
Is it going to be a taco-based platformer?
Yeah. No, I searched taco. There's no taco game.
Or the Speedy Gonzalez game.
The randomizer's racist, I see.
It might be. Hey, can God be racist? I don't know.
The randomizer is a god from the 90s, so there's a really good chance.
Yeah.
It has some really dated material on Asian drivers.
Yeah. And not as racist as the 1960s god, the sorter. But the randomizer, still pretty racist.
Well, that's my story.
Well, I also have a fast food related story.
Please,
in that I bought and ate a large blizzard today.
All right. What kind was
What
it?
variety?
It was a Heath blizzard. And
Okay.
it's a mistake I make maybe once a year, once every other year.
Yeah, you fucked up.
Because who in God's name needs that much blizzard ice cream? It is an unreasonable amount of frozen blizzard for one person to eat.
You were referring to the size, not the flavor.
Oh no! I love toffee. Heath is great.
Man,
Does the ice cream not make it too hard? Because I would have figured toffee's already pretty crunchy. You freeze it, it's gonna bust some gums.
I was all right with the consistency. My bigger problem, and I always forget this and make this mistake when I get a large, is that
a large blizzard.
The machine that they have to mix the blizzard does not go that deep.
All the way to the bottom. Yeah, you always
So you get a really poorly mixed blizzard if you get a large. It doesn't happen with any of the other sizes, but if you get a large blizzard, it's you're gonna have
3/4 of a blizzard.
Hallway's too big for that hot dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the mint Oreo. That's my jam. When they have it, mint Oreo. When they don't, basic boy M&M blizzard.
Okay.
Every now and then I do get the Heath, and I'm like, oh, why? It's like the second bite in. I'm like, oh, I just wanted something different. But why did I do this?
See, I love the Georgia Mud Fudge. Georgia Mud Fudge. Blood fudge? Georgia Mud Fudge. Blood.
I've never had it.
But much.
But one thing that does really kind of piss me off, it's a peeve.
It's fine, Phil.
This blizzard pisses me off.
You can be candid here. It's fine.
But I find it the tipping the blizzard upside down thing that they started like 4 or 5 years ago is just like, I know how the physics of ice cream works. Yeah. That it clings to surfaces. You don't need to this isn't special that only Dairy Queen has the ability to have blizzards that have ice cream that sticks to your cup. Like, I find it just okay. That's thanks.
Just pretend to be amazed, like they just showed you a magic trick.
Be amazed. Refuse the blizzard. Be like, no. The ice cream shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That's not right.
This ice cream has Satan's touch.
How do I know you're not of the devil?
Mm-hmm.
I represent a talent agency. We do magic shows up and down. We got an opening at the Chinook Winds Casino. We need you cannot be wasted in this Dairy Queen, sir.
We need you in your magical dairy treats.
Sorcerer! Keep your vile treats! Speed off. What about you,
And
Dave?
by that we...
I'm sorry, Phil. Please go on. Is there more?
More blizzard.
More blizzard?
Oh no, I was trying to use the sorcery as a jumping point off into
Might and Magic 3.
Clever
Magic
girl.
3. We can do that because, here's my story. Played a lot of Might and Magic 3. Didn't get out of the house a lot. So that's pretty much it.
It's pretty impressive.
Hi, I'm Dave. I didn't get out of the house much because I was playing Might and Magic 3. I wasn't realistically trying to finish a 50-plus hour game in a week's time. I do,
but there are only 3 towns. But it's 50 hours long.
Are there really? I've only made it to 2.
I mean, it would make sense to me that there are only 3. It just takes that long.
There are multiple islands, but I could believe that in this game they didn't have any towns on those other islands. It kind of seems like maybe that kind of game. But I do like this attitude with the randomizer where it's like, we got a week to play a game, we do our best. And it's just let it go. Because it's like, there's no way I can finish this game. I'm going to put in as much time as I possibly can. And that was probably around 14 hours.
Don't think you guys can do it? All right, find somebody that can.
Yeah.
Here's the
Phil's out there.
Here's the thing. If this game actually moved at a reasonable pace, it wouldn't be a 74-hour game. It would be like a 20-hour game.
Yeah.
It's you are spending 50 hours trying to navigate through the the world in which you're playing in. It's I liken this game to a decent game wrapped in a fat game's body, and you are just trying to navigate through this obese, bloated husk, and it's so hard to move. And it sucks any little bit of fun. If there were a kernel in there, it just sucks it out.
All right, I feel like I'm probably the most positive one here on this game.
I'm probably second most, but I do want to.
I am the third most powerful mole.
I can't say it's a good game. It's a decent game, but it just has so much going wrong for it. So
I think I got Stockholm Syndrome playing the game because
yeah.
I feel I literally, like, this is not an exaggeration. I really feel like it took me 3 hours to kind of like figure the game out. And it's like go through all the menu options.
That's an impressive amount of time because, I mean, that's a short amount of time for how clunky I felt like this beast was.
It's clunky. The UI is clunky, and it's like one of those where it's like you cannot put this game in and just go. You can't because it's like.
But it says that on the advertisement, Dave.
Yeah, I know that print ad. Where what's the copy exactly?
Good fucking luck. Might Magic 3.
I think it says something like easy to start playing or something like that, and that is not true.
Easy to turn the switch on. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, if the hefty instruction manual did not tell you that, like, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like anytime you pull out a game and it, like, the instruction manual looks like a player's handbook for D&D or something, it's like, this game is not easy to pick up and start.
Because I feel like this game would have been in my wheelhouse. It's very D&D-esque.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I love D&D. Mm-hmm. So like, all right, I bet this will be good. I bet I'll be able to figure this out because I see mostly you and Phil are talking about it for days. I try to play a little bit of it. I'm immediately turn it off, wait. I watch you stream it. It's like, okay, Dave makes this look pretty good. All right. Try it again. Don't last that much longer before I turn it off in sheer frustration because I don't want to just like pull up a guide and read line by line and go like I'm playing a Japanese game. Like,
no.
What's the translation? Now I'm looking at this. What's the translation?
No,
now I'm looking at this.
And that's not how you should play it. Like, I mean, the way I played it was shrug. Like, I'm just gonna like poke around the world, see what happens, try to figure stuff out. Like, really, all the time. When I said earlier that it took me like 3 hours to like figure out the game, that was not a whole truth because really, honestly, it's like when I was streaming this game Sunday night, Phil was like, I was saying like, oh yeah, I got to go back to the tavern to save. And Phil was like, you can do that from anywhere. And I was like, oh shit, I wish I would have known this like, I don't know, 14 hours ago. That would have been cool.
I bet I put an hour and a half into it of sheer unmitigated frustration and deaths over and over and over again.
Tyler, your experience that you have recounted is literally the first 10 years of me owning this game and picking it up from a used game store. Just like, oh, I like the Might and Magic series. I'll put this in. Oh, this sucks, and turn it off 5 minutes later. And then 5 years later, I'm like, maybe it's better this time, and I'll put it again. Like, nope, it's still very obtuse and hard to play.
Because we are talking about it like an invisible beast that it is. So before we start to describe this monstrosity anymore, get people even more confused. Dave, do you hear that?
I do hear that. It's the sound of a young Phil Hawkins. It's a young sandwich cardinal who is
early 20s.
Who is riding a train.
Hair just barely gray.
Yeah, just a little bits at the temples, graying at the temples. Riding on this train that's full of just Might and Magic video games. Like you can't fit them all in the box cars. They're tumbling out. And there's one copy of Might and Magic 3 that's in a glass case right next to the conductor's seat. That in case of emergency, and you absolutely have to play a game, it's there.
Mm-hmm. It and Lord of the Rings are sitting there.
Right. Which, of course, ushers in a segment that we like to call Dave Reads from Wikipedia. Okay, guys. Might and Magic 3, Isles of Terra, or as it's known in Japan, Might and Magic III, Isles of Terra, is the third game in the role-playing video game series Might and Magic. Okay, so it was released originally in 1991 for DOS. And then it came out on the Super Nintendo in 1995. So I want to let that kind of soak in a little bit.
That's a little weird.
So peak Super Nintendo. This is coming out.
Yes.
This is the same year as Chrono Trigger. Might and Magic 3 is coming out.
That puts it in perspective.
There you go. So also, it's 4 years. I mean, at that point, it's like a 4-year-old game on a platform that was not originally designed for. So I want us to all keep that in mind, like, because here's my theme for this episode. I think Might and Magic 3 is actually a game that someone could have fun with. Like, I had fun playing it, but it's not a good game because it is. They didn't try to they didn't try to fit the UI of the game to a controller. Like, this is a game that is compatible with the SNES mouse. And I didn't know that until I was streaming it on Twitch. And like, someone told me that. I was like, is that for real? I thought that that was like a Mario Paint exclusive kind of deal because there weren't many games that supported the SNES mouse, but this one does. And I could see like having a mouse to go through the menus.
Made a pretty big difference.
Yeah, instead of like using the D-pad and the A and B buttons, like it would have made a huge difference because it's like going through the menu system is probably the worst part of the game because like you go through menus constantly.
Playing it's pretty bad too, but please go on.
So anyway, it was developed. The port was developed by Iguana, who you probably know from NBA James. So I think that's a fun little thing where it's like, okay, all right, NBA James. I hope there are basketball references hidden in the SNES version, but I don't know. I didn't find any. The plot of the game is thorough, but essentially it doesn't matter because you just start out and you're just a team of adventurers.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Like, you're kind of dumped in the world, and it's like, here you are in a town that looks like a dungeon full of fountain heads.
Here you are. Have you ever seen like the few episodes of Quantum Leap where it shows like their current time where they live in that city? Yes, all the cities look like they're that one city in Quantum Leap.
It's a city that does not believe in roofs. Roofs do not exist in Fountainhead.
No. Also, it's really a problem that all the cities have, I found, because it's like whoever planned all these cities like definitely had like a job at a prison before they did city planning.
A mirror prison because everything's just shiny like chrome. Even when you leave and you're outside, that looks normal. Why a town just couldn't look normal, I don't know.
I don't know either.
But
well, most of the towns end up being
towns
dungeons.
are pretty much prisons, right? They're pretty much dungeons. What is a town if not just a homey dungeon? So,
but they are in this game essentially dungeons because it's like every town has monsters in it somewhere. Granted, my experience with this game is 2 towns. So
are you saying? I mean, are you saying Paducah doesn't have monsters?
Clearly, it does. I live
somewhere, yeah.
Every town has monsters, if you think about it.
Do you think it's an allegory? Do you think Might and Magic 3 is trying to show us something deeper?
Yeah, the Bubblemen and Moose Rats are actually metaphors for sex offenders. So.
In poverty.
Oh, because like I tried to put time into it, and I got to where I could. I found where I could change my party members.
Yes.
Like design my own, and then I couldn't figure out how to recruit her, so I ended up hiring an archer because I remember your stream you were told it'd give everybody a short bow. Makes a big difference.
Yes.
So I was like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. So eventually I found a weapon shop, and I was like, hell yeah. It took me forever to figure out how to navigate weapons, armor, tools, whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
Then I was like, oh, a short bow. I see one. All right, so I'll give everybody short bows. Went and bought a short bow. Oh, you only have one. Oh, okay. Well, that is not something that makes sense. That totally makes sense.
He's a blacksmith. Why would he have more than one bow? He probably just was like, "Hey, I found this bow. You can have this if you want."
Yep.
I deal in ironworks.
So I was like, okay, well, I equipped the short bow on somebody, which was also pretty obtuse. But I did remember your hot tip about how to exchange items between other characters,
which is away, right?
super, super fucked up.
Yeah, it's super fucked up.
Like,
So how do you trade items within your party? Like if how does the paladin give the druid leather armor?
Phil, it was your discovery, so please, you take that.
Yeah. So in order to give an item to another player, you select it and you go to the discard button, and it'll ask you if you want to discard it permanently, which you select no, and then it'll say, well, do you want to give it to another player? In which case you say yes, and that's how you trade from person to person. And as I had relayed to you guys before, the first time I did this, I accidentally threw away my most powerful weapon that I had earned, which upon playing further I realized was not that big of a loss, because this game has, and this is one of the many good things it has going for it, it has a Diablo-style random weapon generator. Mm-hmm. When you find magical weapons, it assigns them usually a prefix or a suffix or both, and those will determine what random stats it has. So it's got a lot of replayability in that regard, which I found neat. I just wish I knew what these things did, because when you think of a coral weapon or a brass weapon or a bronze weapon, these are all modifiers, but I have no idea what they do. I did find out that anything that is wooden is bad. It will put a negative modifier. So if you find a wooden cloak, which wrap your head around that, there's
a wooden quilt at our local quilt museum.
It's true. You know how we said there's monsters in every town? We have wooden quilts.
Yeah.
Digest that. Well, what's crazy about it is, like, Phil, like, when you say, like, wooden stuff is bad, like, you don't mean that it's not exclusively worse than coral stuff. It actively makes your character worse. Like, being naked is better than putting on wooden armor. Because wooden armor, like, lowers your defense. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that doesn't make sense. It should at least be a little bit better than nothing.
Why in this world, wood is cursed.
Yeah.
That's why all the cities are made out of glass and steel.
But it's like, it's also one of those where it's like, I don't understand, like, why even have it in the game, like, other than just to be mean-spirited?
Yep.
Like, other than just to be like, well, yeah, there are very early in the game, essentially cursed items are very, very findable. And it's like sometimes like the wooden cloak doesn't make sense. I also at one point had a I could purchase a leather scimitar.
Oh, don't do that. Leather is just as bad, if not worse than wooden. Actually, no, it is worse than wooden.
For weapons, but it's like when it's leather armor, all of a sudden it's a good thing. So it's like, I don't know.
It makes sense. Somebody trying to like something like, yeah, that's pretty shitty. Yep.
What it really means is
here at the Ironworks, we're all about coulda, not shoulda.
What it really means is that in Fountainhead there is clearly no Better Business Bureau. Like, the shopkeeper can just do whatever the fuck he wants. Yeah, you want a leather scimitar? Fine, it's fine, I promise. Oh, what does it do? Buy it, and then I can identify it for you. And also, I will charge you to identify it, and then you'll know.
I have this spear made out of pop rocks. Buy it if you dare.
At least they give you...
That is the fucked up thing, though, is that you have to, if you want to know what stats a weapon has, you have to pay to identify it.
Yeah.
But not every time. Yeah. Every time. This isn't a one-time transaction. Right. Every time you want to see it, you have to go to the blacksmith and then ask him to identify it for 10% of what the thing costs, which isn't much for basic items, but when you find a 10,000 gold piece tiara and it costs 1,000 gold to identify it, that shit starts to add up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not only that, but it's time-consuming. Because it's like, really, like, you can't just pay you cannot pay the shopkeep to identify an item that he has. You have to take a gamble and buy that item. And then be like, all right, what is it? Like, it's like, this is a dystopian future where it is just like, this is how business is. Like, you know, like, we're getting there.
Because, like, I can see, go ahead, Phil.
I was saying, I feel that's a somewhat common thing from role-playing games of this era, except you would just base things off of, this is more powerful because it costs more.
It's more expensive, yeah.
And the item shops, the weapon shops, you go from town to town in like a standard JRPG. It's just, it's the next step up, and you just kind of that's just common knowledge. Here, it's the weapon shops just offer such a wide variety of stuff, and every single time you come back, they restock their wares, so you can eventually get a full set of bows. And part of the restocking is they put a random magic weapon somewhere at the bottom, and every single time you come in, but you have no idea whether that is better or worse than what you got. You just have to say, well, this is 2,000 gold, and the thing I'm wearing is 3,000 gold, so I think it's better. But because of the random item generator, you have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bad system. Like it's a very bad system.
Everything in this game is a pain.
Yeah.
Every there's nothing that is very simple in this game.
No.
Every step of every thing you have to pursue is minutia that is painful. And that's
why I said it's like walking through a fat man's body. This is a good game in a fat game's body.
And to a point, I can understand how that level of minutia can be appealing sometimes. It can be fun to earn it and fight through it and figure it out. I understand that because D&D can be played like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is built where that is an option.
Right.
Where you can have your carrying capacity, you can, I mean, how much your bag, how much you can carry, how much your bag can carry,
right?
How like every 10 coins equal a pound, and that all factors in. Everything has a weight. Your travel distance, how long it takes you, your food, your water, like identifying magic items is the exact same way. Because everything you would find out in the wild, well, you have to see if it's magical. Okay, if it's not magical, okay, you know what that is. But, it could be masterwork. It looks pretty nice. You don't know.
Right.
Well, okay, well, it appears magical. We have no way of doing that. Well, an identify spell. Can you cast an identify spell? Well, it does take a pearl, a glass of wine, an owl's feather.
Uh-huh.
Do you have all those? Well, no. The pearl has to be worth 100 gold pieces.
Uh-huh.
So this feather that we already have, we could pay 100 gold pieces, and it might only be worth 20 gold pieces.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, D&D is also set up. Sometimes that can be fun.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can play D&D with fantasy realism or fantasy escapism. Generally, I think, Dave, you and we've played fantasy escapism to where we overlook, like, you find, okay, well, that's a +1 flaming sword.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. You don't have to pay to get identified. You don't have to mess with all this. Carrying capacity, there's a bag of holding. You're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Well, the thing with encumbrance and stuff is always like, I'm always, especially when I'm running a game, I'm like, man, like, let's make this where, like, let's do a game where it matters, where like the shit that you carry matters. But the problem with that is, the first session, it's fine. The second session, everyone's always like, wait, who's carrying the ladder? And it's like, oh, I don't know. I don't have it in my notes. Oh, me neither. Who's carrying the ladder? And then at that point, it's like, well, I do want this game to go on, so somebody has a ladder. Also, do not worry about encumbrance from this point forward.
Yep. So then, if you do worry about encumbrance, it's like, okay, well, we're all going to search for bags of holding, so we don't have to fuck with this anymore. Okay, thank you.
Well, that's like video games beat tabletop role-playing games in the inventory sense, like all the time. Because it's like, to me, honestly, I think the best RPG that deals with, or the RPG that deals with inventory the best, is Diablo. Because it's like, you just got a grid and you just fill that grid up with shit. And then it's like, if that grid gets full, you can play Tetris with the shit to make room, or you can just start selling stuff. And it's like, I wish there was a way to do that in tabletop role-playing games.
See, and even in like early D&D when we first started playing, I would just like, this is a big town, so you can buy minor magic items here. And if you had, I didn't even keep track. It was just like, only minor magic items are here. Buy what you want. What do you want? And then much later on did I start like randomly rolling, because it makes sense. Like, yeah, he wouldn't have infinite short bows. Like, I'm used to every Final Fantasy having infinite items of whatever they have. So that I kind of get. That's another aspect of D&D. Like, I understand that. And I've gotten more meticulous about that, because in the last game I ran, the dwarf game, I randomly rolled for every single piece of equipment that was in every single town. And that ended up being like actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Because
if you get to buy whatever magic item you want, everyone buys the same 6 magic items every single time, and it fucking sucks.
Right.
So none of the cool items get used because you're about maximizing your character.
Right.
So So there is something to be said for the meticulous realism, but I feel like this game definitely takes it to an extreme.
Yeah, which I think honestly would be okay because it's a video game. And like I said earlier, I think video games handle inventory and all that shit a lot better than tabletop role-playing games. Because it's like no one in a video game, the person who's the bookkeeper is the video game. Like no player has that role. And it's like not a burden to anybody. It's like the machine is like, I will do it. I am good at this. I will do this.
Yep.
Let me tell you what you can carry. But the problem in it is like just the cumbersome manner in which this game handles it. Because it is, I mean, everything, you're right. Everything about this game is cumbersome. Everything about it is cumbersome. Cucumbersome, totally. But like I get joy in this game when it's weird, and I know I've said this before about other games, but I find joy in this game when I figure something out, and then it's like I feel like I'm getting better at this. I feel like I'm learning this game, and because I'm learning it, I'm getting better at it. So it's like very much Stockholm Syndrome, because like what I could do is be like, I don't like this, I'm going to stop playing it. Instead, I'm like, I don't like this, but I can find good in this game. I'm like Luke Skywalker. It's like there's good in this game. I can feel it. And then I search for it. And I honestly do think that like if this game didn't have its cumbersome menu system and all of that, like I think that this could be a very, very fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suspect on the PC it was a much better experience, and you know I had done some research before this, and it was the PC version was pretty well regarded, and I think when you're able to navigate with just a mouse, and I suspect actually the movement, you know, I'll have to check this out maybe, but the movement is so cumbersome that it's really jarring when compared with other grid-based first-person role-playing games of this era. I had mentioned this to you earlier, is that, you know, Wizardry 5 is another game like this. You'll come across this eventually. I own it, and I really like that game. And the movement is so fast, and you can sprint down halls, and you can just navigate so quickly. And it's to go from that to this, where every single step takes a beat to do, is really jarring. Yeah,
it's like I'm glad you've mentioned that this is a first-person role-playing game, because it's like we hadn't mentioned that yet. It very much feels like if you were completely new to first-person role-playing games, like probably the best way I can describe this game is it's like a really slow Wolfenstein 3D without guns.
Because like even leveling up, like in most RPGs, video or tabletop, you know, when you level up, you just level up. Awesome. Benefit earned. Not in this game. You have to go, you have to get to the level and then go pay to train and level up. Which, again, I can sort of see the appeal to it, but also like, fuck. Come on. Come on. It's nothing for free. This is the capitalism's wet dream of a video game. Nothing is free.
Yeah, well, I like it, and the reason
I wish Chris Black was there. Yeah, fucking capitalism.
Yeah, I remember when Fountainhead had a thriving downtown, and then the Wally's Item Mart opened up, fucking pulled all the business away, and then they opened up the goddamn Intercontinental Roadway. I like the fact that you have to pay, like you have
Make
to
Fountainhead great again.
I like that you have to pay to level up, because it's like it's different. You know what I mean? And it's like it feels like this game is leaning into what it this game knows what it wants to be, and it is not compromising on that. And I think there's something that's really cool about that. Like if it were faster, that would be fantastic.
So it's the Christianity of video games. It does not compromise under any circumstances. Even if it hurts you, it does not compromise.
But I mean, I don't know. It's nice to I don't know. It's another way that they can like control how fast you level, and then you don't have to worry about it. Like I can see the design of it, because it's like also in the first town, Fountainhead, you only have lower level spells that you can purchase. That's great, because it entices you to fucking leave that town and explore the world.
Well, you can't just go and buy spells.
That is true. This is, of course not. This is also cumbersome. Please.
Well, you have to join the union, the spellcasters union,
The Mages
first of
Guild.
all,
Mhm.
which I've heard that this one is okay. So after I played through an hour and a half, got frustrated. I was like, let me just watch some videos.
Yeah.
And so I watched. A guy had a very meticulous playthrough of every step, and then he was constantly praising this game. Oh my god, this is so much more streamlined and easier than the previous.
Than Might and
ones.
Magic 2.
It's holy fuck, are you kidding me? So
Yeah.
all your spells were all in different places with their own unions and all of their own union dues.
Well, right. And not only that, but it's you got to talk to a guy during the day who's not even at the guild. He's in another location in town.
Yep.
You just got to find him.
Desk set up in a random alcove.
You just wander around Glass City until you find a corner where there's a desk and a guy with a hood's like, hey there.
You don't even see the guy.
Oh, yeah, just a desk.
You just see the desk.
It could be a desk
right.
talking to you.
Right.
It could be a mimic. You don't know.
You walk up to the desk, and then all of a sudden a screen shows up with a guy in it. And he's like, whoa, I'm not a beggar. Chill out. I just want to sell you a guild membership. You're like, sure.
And you have to buy one for, of course, every single person that would buy spells.
Yeah, you got to buy.
You can't just buy one and your party gets in.
You got to buy one guild membership for each spellcaster. He also doesn't tell you that.
Right.
Something that I actually like, kind of. So it's a secondary skill that you can learn in the game, and I think this game has a lot of depth to it, with including all these secondary skills, which will allow you to do things like cast magic or map the terrain, or give you certain bonuses, or allow you to access certain parts of the map that you wouldn't be able to do. And if I remember right, so I own Might and Magic 6, and which kind of helped get me into the series a little bit. And that was something that was familiar there, is that your classes, you could just upgrade them through these various secondary skills, and allow you to continually make your characters better. So while it was very cumbersome the way it was implemented, I can kind of get behind that to a certain extent.
We should also say this is first person the whole time. You're in a tight first person view that is very different. The only other game I've played like that is the first Phantasy Star.
Oh, see, I haven't played the first Phantasy Star. Yeah, this is very much in the vein of a dungeon crawler. This is a dungeon crawler at heart, for sure. Very much.
I really like these type of games. I've been a fan of these kind of first-person grid-based dungeon crawlers. I have, like I mentioned, I have Wizardry. I think Eye of the Beholder for the Super Nintendo. Another one of these games that I bought and then was like, this is ugly, and didn't play it again. So when we get to that, it's pretty much going to be the same experience over again.
Well, we've mentioned it, so the randomizer will undoubtedly choose it for us. So, Phil, block out next Tuesday if you could.
Can do.
Might and Magic 2. That's only released in Japan.
I want to go back to the guild because, it's more complex than that.
Yep.
More complex than that. Uh-huh. You got to, so you buy the guild membership during the day, and then you're like, sweet, let me go to the Magic Guild. And you go over there. Sorry, dog, we're only open at night.
Yep.
Oh, well, there is time in this game, so...
What can I do? I guess I can go to bed. Okay, well, it's going to take some food for you to go to bed. That's also a resource. So it costs you to sleep. So
it does. So I don't know. That bugged me a lot because it's it's got that okay, so this is I don't want to say babies first, but this is this reminded me of...
Masochists first.
Yeah, this reminded me of an Elder Scrolls game. Because a lot of the same things you see in the modern day, like Skyrim, because it's there are towns, and in those towns are shops that are open at certain times. There's some of that simulation but it's it took a long time for this to get streamlined. So then I'm in the mindset where it's okay, so let me I got to remember that this is the mid-90s. This isn't I can't look at this game as and compare it to a game that, is modern. But then I'm oh yeah, but this also came out on the SNES 4 years after it came out on the PC, around the same time that Chrono Trigger came out. So this is pretty much inexcusable.
And I make it sound like I don't like minutia in a game. And I do, point of argument, because I love Fallout New Vegas hardcore mode. I think hardcore mode was such a fucking awesome addition. I only play hardcore mode when I pick up New Vegas. And that's another level of needless minutia that doesn't have to be there, but for some reason, I really like it. So I see the appeal that this game and this level of minutia would absolutely have. I feel like for me, this is a desert island game. Like if I'm stuck and I have a fuck ton of time and I can sink like a lot into this game, like then it can be really rewarding for you to just play and figure this shit out. And it's so slow and meticulous. And yeah, desert island, like I feel like you'd have to really know what you were doing to do it in 72 hours. Like,
Yeah.
this game is absolutely like a 100-hour game if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. But it's like I want to put an asterisk because I agree with you. Like, yeah, if I had a whole bunch of time to kill, put this game on my list. Asterisk the DOS version. Because I did not play the DOS version, but I did watch somebody play it, and it looked like it ran a lot faster, which it needed to. Obviously, he was using a mouse, which, by the way, I remember when I was a child begging my dad. I was like, we got to get a mouse. We got to get a mouse for the computer. And I remember my dad being like, that's a fad. You don't need anything but a keyboard, son. Look, you can't type with a mouse, can you? So, yeah, I vividly remember that because I wanted to play games like this.
We have to get the internet, son. That, like the mouse, is a fad.
Yeah.
Webcams, though.
That's the future.
I feel like I would rub that in my parents' face every time I got. Remember when you said that a mouse was a fad?
I think the root of it was my dad didn't want Windows 3.1. Like, I think he was like, we're a DOS family.
Now get him a box full of like 100 mice. Is that what you
Mouses.
Mouses.
Yeah.
100 mouses.
Done. Happy Father's Day. You have 100 mouses.
You dumb bastard.
So there is, but speaking of the DOS version, there are differences in the game. The SNES version is, believe it or not, censored. And I knew that it was because the second town in the game that I found is called Baywatch. So go ahead and let that sink in. It's called Baywatch. And in the middle of the town is a statue of a goddess, and she's wearing a bright, hot pink bikini. And the moment I saw it, I was like, this game was subject to censorship. Because that looks painted on. And it's like, when I started going down that rabbit hole, and yeah, sure enough, there's no bikini on that statue in the DOS version. The DOS version also has a lot more animated cutscenes, where like when you go to level up, for example, and you go to the training grounds, in the SNES version, you are greeted with a still image of something. It kind of looks like one of like the Pawnee murals, like
yeah, it does.
Townsend Wreck.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what I'm looking at
like,
exactly.
It's like outside. You are outside the grounds of a castle, and there's a castle in the background, walls. There are people training, and this is you go through a door in the town, and apparently on the other side of that door is the entire outside of a castle.
Well, in the DOS version,
you're at the Night's Watch. You're in there. You're training. You're taking the black. That's what it looks like.
in the DOS version, it is an animated cutscene of a dude riding a horse with a sword, and he cuts a watermelon in half. And it's like,
Fuck yes.
There we go.
Sir Gallagher.
Right? Yes. But
I am Sir Gallagher. I am Sir Gallagher too.
I am the twin brother of Sir Gallagher, Sir Gallagher the second. Some of them, I think, some of the animations are really goofy because it's like when you go into like the tavern where you would buy your food when you want to sleep, and you'd get rumors and stuff like that. There's an animation of a guy, like the bartender, just cleaning the bar, and the animation repeats so many times that he's like endlessly cleaning, which would be fine because like his hand moving over and again, that's fine. But they also decided to animate his eyes moving back and forth. So he is like rapidly, like it's almost like he's speed reading a ghost book in front of him.
I guess rumors are
another
free
bit of
though.
censorship there. Yeah.
Rumors are free.
no.
Yeah, please tell me about the other censorship in the tavern.
In the DOS version, you drink and you can get drunk. In the SNES version, you eat and you get full.
You get
and it's a
stuffed.
status. You get stuffed.
Stuffed, which I would argue is worse. Like that is they censored the game and somehow made it dirtier. Yeah. I went to the tavern. I didn't get drunk. I just decided to get stuffed.
Oh man!
And whenever you take damage, your portraits have it's like a blue like graphic pops up over your character portrait.
It's goo.
Which I have to assume was red in the DOS version. It's meant to be like
it was
blood that they censored out.
It was blood. And then like when you have enemies in front of you and you attack them in the Super Nintendo version, when you deal damage to them, a red X, like a tiny red X appears
red X
on the enemy. It's blood in the DOS version, which is actually it's blood if it's physical damage. If it's elemental damage, there's a symbol of the element that's damaging them, which I think is a really nice touch. There something that makes not only the mouse makes the game easier to navigate in the DOS version. There are keyboard shortcuts. So it's like if you go to a tavern and like you know exactly what you want to do, you just hit the corresponding letters on the keyboard and it's done. You don't have to go through the menu. It's like drink, rumors, I'm out, exit. And you can do pretty much everything super fast. Well, like what would take maybe 10 seconds on the DOS version probably takes like 2 minutes in the Super Nintendo version. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. The DOS version's better, I feel like. I didn't play the DOS version, but it like just like looking that side by side, it's like, yes, I'd rather have that experience.
I did really enjoy the depth that this game offers for a Super Nintendo game. You have 10 different character classes that you can choose from. You can create your whole new party, 10 different classes, 3 different alignments. I'm not sure what the alignments themselves do, but the character classes each start with different secondary skills, like the ability to spot secrets or the ability to get into certain areas. And you have 5 different races that you can choose from, kind of your standard gnomes, elves, that sort of thing. Gnomes are green, elves are blue, as
it's weird.
Of course they are. Yeah,
it's really weird, except for the gnome that they start you with, who looks like you would expect a gnome to look like. Yeah, I don't understand. Like when I was playing the game, I was like, did they make a mistake? Like gnomes are green and half orcs are not. Like I feel like there's like a communication breakdown, or maybe they're like, we do things a little bit different here at Might and Magic 3.
Because like the first thing I did was, remember you talked about the bows being important, and I looked through. I was like, well, I feel like I need to get like an archer or something. So okay, evil half orc knight. All right, get the fuck out.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I got rid of him too.
Hired an archer. Kind of tooled around with the equipment some, stepped out of town, took like 2 steps, 2 goblins rush up.
Killed you, right?
Beat my ass. Another goblin walks back up, finishes me off.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No fucking chance.
Yeah.
So then I went back, started over, did some more tooling around, went out, killed some goblins, took a few more steps. Suddenly I'm ambushed by an orc. Like really demolishes me instantly.
Yeah, orcs are rough. That's
so then I'm just like, God damn it!
Yeah.
Because even watching you play through it was just like, take 1 or 2 steps. Okay, monsters. Okay, now we're all almost dead. Let's go back. Okay, now we're getting attacked again. All right, all of us are dead but one person. Make it back to town. Okay.
Rest. Okay.
Rest. Heal. All right. Well, we're out of gold. Okay, let's go get more gold. Let's go do this.
Yeah.
Okay, gold. Apparently, you could put it into savings and collect interest.
Yeah, you can put it in the bank and collect interest, which is a good thing to do because there's also a time mechanic in this game, much like, again, that reminds me of Elder Scrolls, where it's like, time passes. But in this game, Phil, you were the one who discovered this and told me that your characters age.
Yeah. Yeah, they start out at 18 years old, and
barely legal.
Every 10 days in this game is a week. Every 100 days is a year, and your characters can. I don't know the mechanic how it works, but as they get older, they become infirm to the point where when they are in their 70s and 80s, you essentially have to retire them, drop them altogether because their stats drop so low that they're unusable. Which is another I think a cool mechanic that adds that layer of depth to it. I can see that playing for a long time and having your level 30 character be an unusable old man at the end of the game probably very frustrating at that point. So
Yeah.
Maybe not as fun in practice as it is in concept.
I think this game, especially on the SNES, would like really benefit some options where it's like you can toggle certain things, so you can customize the experience. Like I get that they are going for like a simulation style game, but I feel like especially releasing this on a console where like, look, man, if I go to Super Nintendo and I don't have a computer, and I've heard of Might and Magic from like my friends who have computers, and I sit down and play this, I'm going to be like completely lost, first of all. And I'm not going to have fun because it's like, I'm not saying I need it dumbed down, but what I am saying is like, I'm new to this. I'd like to be able to like toggle things on and off where it's like, do I want to level up automatically? Yes. Like, you know, at the start of the game, you just go through these things and it's like you can change your settings. I know that's like not a thing that's super common at the time, but I mean, like, I still think this would be like very beneficial to have something like that.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, because I know like it's also set up for you can completely run out of gold and people can be dead and you're just out of a way to help.
Right.
So you can go and like be a day laborer.
Right.
50 gold pieces a day.
I think it's a week actually.
Yeah. It's a week.
So it's like a bad decision because
Which 50 gold is a paltry amount because you start the game with 25,000 gold pieces.
which is very generous. Because it's
Yes.
like, I don't think you start out with that much money like in the DOS version. So like there is that kind of like thing where it's like, because I remember starting the game and being like, why are we adventuring? We're rich. Like, we're rich.
I mean, my question is, could you just have like a laborer's party for a while? Like you just come in and just day labor until they're 80 and put all your money in the bank to collect interest while you just keep laboring and laboring and laboring, and then boot them all, bring in young people. You've got a bunch of money, like off the backs of our forefathers, we will venture forth.
That's the achievement title.
There you go,
On the backs of our forefathers. To unlock it, you do that.
What the boomers should have done. So,
Is an elf not entitled to the sweat of his own brow?
and then again, when I was watching another person who's like loves these games to an extreme was like, all right, first thing we got to do, get this orc out. Nope, bad choice having this orc in there. So you need it might sound like you don't want it, but you have to be pretty caster heavy. So you need a cleric, a sorcerer, and a druid. Druid is super. You don't start with a druid, but druid is apparently super essential that you go and get a druid. You can hire one.
They can heal, and they start out with the map making skill, which the map is super important because this is a first person RPG, so it's tough to figure out where you're going unless you have a mini map.
Yeah, it's real easy to get like disorientated.
And like the elemental arrows, apparently also a big deal that druids have.
Man, I never had much luck with the elemental arrow. Like it feels like my success rate on hitting a monster with the elemental arrow was like maybe like 15%. Like I mean, it always just felt like a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
That's one of my bigger gripes with the game mechanics is that there is an accuracy stat, and if you have a low accuracy stat, you are not going to hit shit.
See, I didn't think about that. I bet my sorcerer had a low accuracy. He probably had like a good intelligence or mind, I think it's called in this game, but like he probably had a bad accuracy.
Yeah, because nothing about this game at all is explained to you in game. Yeah, instruction booklet or GTFO.
Yeah, and the instruction booklet, yeah, I mean it covers a lot of this stuff. There are a lot of tables in the instruction manual. Like it's a real Garth Brooks. I think one of my favorite things about the game is your starting party has super original names. Your cleric's name is Resurrectra. Because of course it is. If you die, she's going to resurrect you.
Resurrectra coming at you. You remember Cleopatra? Yeah,
yeah,
right.
of course.
Perfect.
Of course. And then you've got your gnome robber named Dark Shade.
That's like that Dark Dungeons, a movie I discussed recently with Kyle Collins of Experience Grind. Because he was talking about, hey, you want to come on the show? Is there any like movie or anything you want to do? I was like, have you seen Dark Dungeons? It's a movie made off a Christian tract that I remember. I read this tract. It's about the evils of D&D and how it draws you into Satanism. Mm-hmm. And these people got the movie rights to this tract and made it into a movie, and it is It is so good. So good.
I've never seen it. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it.
John Tron does a really good breakdown.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So I was like, how about this? Where it's like, you are the elf Darkstar, and you are the gnome Bitterleaf, or some shit like that. And it's good. It's real good.
I'm sorry, Phil. Go ahead.
I would like to have that done with a little more accuracy. I DM'd a game recently for a group of folks who named themselves such things as Butt Stallion and Philip Marectum and all sorts of just really, really good stuff. So I feel that's a little bit more accurate to the Dungeons and Dragons experience.
What did you name your characters, Phil? Did you stick with the standard names like Castor, the sorcerer?
I took the painstaking path of remaking my own party from scratch, doing myself, doing it the old like middle school, elementary school style. You pick the people who you're close with and turn them into characters. So I went.
So it's
myself.
Phil and then like 5 girls that you want to date.
My wife was on there. Bulbasaur was the druid.
All right.
Because that was her class in D&D when we played. I was the ninja. You have to have a ninja or a thief. Those are the only characters that can pick locks, and that is essential to this game. Harold Arthur was my barbarian. Tyrone was my cleric.
There you go.
Dave was my sorcerer.
All right, fits.
And Steve Harvey was my paladin.
I love that you named your paladin Steve Harvey, man. I like when you told me that you had named your paladin Steve Harvey. I was like, God, if I weren't already 3 hours into this game, I would form a party just full of ex and current Family Feud hosts. And it's like I'd have fun like figuring out who is who, who's Louis Anderson, like what class is he?
Who would Louis Anderson be?
Not an archer. I don't see him as an archer.
I feel barbarian.
Barbarian.
I feel like
Barbarian.
Just a big shirtless behemoth with like a great axe.
Richard Dawson, totally a gnome robber.
Yeah. It's a kiss robber.
Steals hearts.
Richard Karn.
That's a toughie.
Richard Karn's a weird one. He could be. I guess he could be a druid or an archer or
okay.
Something woodsy.
Yeah, he likes maps, I hear.
Who's that one that went crazy?
John O'Hurley?
No.
John Ray Combs.
That's Ray. Yeah, I think Ray Combs. Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like he went crazy for a while and ended up committing suicide. Like the feud drove him too far.
So, samurai.
Perfect.
He dishonored his lord, Family Feud, and on the battlefield.
Family Feudal Lord.
I brought great dishonor to my Family Feud.
I looked up Family Feud hosts. People also ask which Family Feud host killed himself.
Perfect.
People also ask, is weed legal?
Is weed legal on Family Feud?
I like the UI in this game. It has an interesting interface for showing you things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gargoyle based UI.
Yes, it is.
Where it's like exclusively right. That's one of the things. So we didn't really describe we described that this game is a first person role playing game, but we didn't describe that you essentially. That view is maybe like a quarter of your screen.
Yep.
Yeah. Like 1/4 of the screen is first person.
Like imagine you're playing GoldenEye with 3 friends, but your 3 friends are just menus and portraits.
Can you imagine playing this game on like a 12-inch
oh no
screen back in 1995?
No, no. I mean, I don't know how people did it because it's like literally you got a quarter of the screen that's like showing you your environment, monsters, castles, mirror walls, and it's like
that's it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's a limited scope. But it's like, okay, so to help you to aid you, your senses in this game, right? Beside your sense of sight is a gargoyle at the top of that frame that when an enemy is nearby will open and close its mouth. So
that is danger sense. That is one of your secondary skills that dwarves start with.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
And sometimes it'll go off and you'll like turn around looking for the source and it's like, I don't see anything. And then you'll see the sprite of an orc clipping through a mountain that it can't pass. And you're like, oh, I see an orc's foot coming to that mountain. So I'm probably okay.
Arrow.
Which also that reminds me of Elder Scrolls when it's like, you know, when you're going into stealth and you get that eye indicator and it's like when you're seen, it's like a bright open eye. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Then there's a little gargoyle hanging out on the left side of the screen. And if his wings are flapping, it means you're levitating, dog.
Oh, okay. Because if you're walking over stuff that hurts you, you get fucked up.
Oh yeah,
real
you get fucked
quick.
up real bad.
Yes.
Yeah, and they do not hesitate to throw those at you in dungeons. Like the last dungeon I was in, this literally happened to me: floor, pit, down a hallway. And it's like, I have to go down this hallway. I don't have the levitate spell. So I guess once we get to the end of this hallway, we're all going to take a nap in the dungeon. And then when I try to take a nap, a message pops up that says, hey, if you sleep here, you're probably going to die. Are you sure you want to sleep?
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Or I guess not. Pit.
It's just being a very good
to get back to town.
Nice DM.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's true. It is nice
Like
to have a
dungeon
warning.
master, hey, you can rest here, but you know you probably will die. Someone will cut your throat in your sleep.
Are you sure you want to rest here? And then there's the third gargoyle who hangs out at the bottom right, and he lets you know if there is a secret passage nearby. Like if you're standing next to a secret passage, he starts waving his arm.
Yeah, and that's a skill that gnomes start with, and that's something that you guys can learn as well.
And then when you discover a secret passageway, you got to bash it down, which hurts you.
Well, you got to kick this wall. You ever kicked a wall before? It's going to fucking hurt.
It's going to hurt.
Hey, but you want treasure?
Man looks fine.
They make you do it in town, too, to access like areas of town that you think they would open up to the public. But they don't. And then like in Fountainhead, the first town, like you have to like bash down some gates to get to the sewers. Where you undertake your first quest, which is hidden. Without like poking around the menus, you'd have no idea. Oh, I have a quest. What they do when you sleep or leave town, the townspeople rebuild those gates. So anytime you want to access that part of town again, you gotta bust the gates down again. So my theory is the laborer that you speak to for 50 gold a week. You just build gates in town that people tear down to get to places they need to go. Or it's like I got some silver skulls to turn into the weirdo who collects these things, but in order to do it, I got to bust down this gate.
Could we make a gate that lowered? Shut your mouth. Although you did find completely by accident a pretty good glitch.
Oh yeah, I
Uncle
forgot about
Skeleton,
that.
baby.
Which when I was explaining that glitch in Twitch. Someone said, "Oh, you didn't know about the gilded skeleton?" And I was like, "Is that a thing?" And they were like, "No," because that's how fucking like obtuse and weird this game is. Like that would make sense. Where it's like, because like so many things are random. Like you know the items you see in the blacksmith and shit like that. Like so many things are random that I totally would buy. Oh yeah. One out of 12,000 times you play this game, Gilded Skeleton shows up and you kill it and you get maximum gold, which is 100% what happened to me. I shot a skeleton with an arrow, went over and like got 267 million gold and I can't remember how many gems, but it was just like, I'm set. Like I don't have to worry about gold ever again. And then
Bank, earn interest. 1% per day. That's 2 million gold a day. Retire. You've done.
It's done. Game over. What I should have done was saved the game immediately. But what actually happened was Henry tripped over the SNES Classic and reset the game. So I lost that gold. But it's fine. Then I got to play the game as it was meant to be played.
I wouldn't get a new son.
Yeah, it's fine. Hank. He's kind of like Henry, but not.
He's real solid-footed.
Yeah.
He doesn't trip on anything.
He actually has no legs. So
Got a third leg. He's very stable. So Phil, you're gonna keep playing
there's
this
another
and
pop
beat it?
culture reference besides Baywatch. There's Mr. Wizard.
Oh, I forgot about Mr. Wizard.
Mr. Wizard's in this game. If you're lost, you can select Mr. Wizard in the menu, and he will transport you back to Fountainhead and take away an entire experience level from all your characters.
And then he will show you a mediocre science experiment. If you rub a balloon on your head and then put it next to water, it'll attract it. Look at that. Look at that little fountain, little water fountain's doing a little dance.
Taking away a whole level. That's fucking super brutal. Like,
Yeah.
why not just die and go back at that point?
Well, it depends on where you saved, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, once I learned that Mr. Wizard because like in the beginning I was just abusing it. I was like, I know a one-way ticket back to town, and that is Mr. Wizard. So it's like I would get done with a dungeon, not be fine on health, and be like, shortcut to town, Mr. Wizard. It's like when that episode of The Simpsons where Homer has a gun and he just decides to use the gun for everything just because it's there. Like that's how I was with Mr. Wizard. It was just like, well, we got Mr. Wizard. They'll take care of that.
So open this door here. Oh man.
Do you want to get into the backstory at all for this game?
Please.
Do it to it.
Because I don't know it. I started reading it and I noped the fuck out really hard.
I've got it pulled up, and I'm not sure I can summarize this in a way that is remotely digestible.
I want to make it harder for you. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, here's how I want to make it harder. You explain the story of the game, and then you tell me how it is relevant to the party that I'm playing as.
You cut out there. Tell you how it's relevant to what?
The party that you're playing as.
I don't know that.
Yeah. Because it's like, when I started reading the story, I was like, this at no point in the game, like, ever comes up to, like, this. It's like what's happening in the game is like there's just like running parallel to the adventure that I'm having.
Mr. Wizard recruited you all. There, go.
Right. It's fine. All right. So I'm sorry, Phil. What? Tell me the story, please.
So, at the end of Might and Magic 2, your players discover that the world of Kron in Might and Magic 2 is a massive spacefaring colonization vessel developed by powerful beings called the Ancients. There is an evil ancient, or at least an evil creature that the Ancients created called Sheltum, who is the antagonist for that game and is also the antagonist of this game.
Sheltum, I barely know him.
Yeah.
So wait, this kind of comes to as a surprise because I played this game for I feel like a long enough time where like if there was some like science fiction stuff in it, surely it would have come up.
Well, this game is Scientology. You don't forget about Xeno until like level 7. Like it's way down there.
Might and Magic 3, Scientology, the game.
I remember this from Might and Magic 6. This is a common trope in the whole series is that the end of the game, it's revealed that you are in kind of a science fantasy universe, and the world that you are in. Each of the Might and Magic games exists on a world out in space somewhere, usually some sort of like space vessel. In this case, it is kind of a colonization that the Ancients had created for Sheltum to look over. Sheltum says F that and tries to destroy the world and fly the world into the sun. But the Ancients create another creature called Korak, who you get hints from Korak throughout the game in the form of written notes. Whenever you go into new towns, you can access. That's one of the menu items.
Oh, so that's who's leaving the notes, saying things like, "There is ooze coming out of the fountains. Find out why."
We are on a flying spaceship going into the sun. That'd been nice.
Yeah. He didn't want to overwhelm us with information right from the beginning.
But yeah, that's revealed throughout. I think towards the end of the game, from what I'm reading, the climax of the game is you go to one of these pyramids that is the power for this structure, for this colonization world, and
for the
Korak.
planet.
yeah, Korak and Sheltem are dueling to the death in the power center of this, and you interfere, allowing Sheltem to escape through an escape pod and fly away, and you have to chase him down. So
you really get into the space stuff later on, like it's not just a narrative thing. Like you go into outer space.
In theory, this is I am literally just kind of paraphrasing this from a website.
It's fine because no one knows. No one's finished this game.
It is unknowable. But I do remember that from other Might and Magic games, and then the offshoot Heroes of Might and Magic. There are cataclysmic events that force your characters and players to go through portals to go to another world on another planet and colonize through that way. So it's always been part of the series, but it's kind of this reveal at the end that you don't know about until you get to the end.
I don't like it. I'm not a fan because I get it if it's like a reoccurring thing. I don't know. I don't know. It's nice to tie it all together, but at the same time, like, seriously, with Might and Magic 3, like, being my first one, like, if I played it to the end and then all of a sudden, like, the dude, like, gets into a spaceship and flies off, I would feel like I am being held hostage. Like, the game's like, well, you got 80 hours in. You going to finish it or not? And they're like, just do it. Just try to make them quit.
What's your life worth? Come on. We dare you.
Right.
Come on. No, quit. Sunk cost fallacy. Prove us wrong.
Exactly.
Come on.
I mean, that is why people were so upset with the finale of Game of Thrones. They felt it was...
Did they go to space? Spoilers?
That Dany and Jon board a spaceship and fly to the moon.
Yeah, there's been no moratorium on Game of Thrones spoilers whatsoever. Like,
nah.
Everyone kept in game to themselves, so it was just like, man, Game of Thrones, this free game. Like, it has thoroughly and completely been spoiled for me in like every aspect.
I don't know if I've shared this with you or not. I especially don't know if I've shared it on the show, but this is my tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. I think HBO is behind that. Like, I really think HBO is behind, like, let's propagate these spoilers, and then people are going to be like, shit, this is getting spoiled for me. Subscribe.
Okay.
I mean,
it
it did force me to watch it early and fast. Now, you're not wrong.
So I don't know. Like, I know about as much about marketing as like your average graphic designer. And that little bit I know about it is, it's effective, and it's like I imagine HBO is probably pretty fucking good at it. I just don't know if they're that good. I don't know if they're like let's I don't know, hire some memers to like make a whole bunch of fucking memes and propagate them on social media.
What do you do for a living? I'm a
memer, a grandmaster memer,
a neener memer.
I started from journeyman and worked all my way up. I don't know if journeyman's the bottom. I guess that would be apprentice. Probably. Yeoman, that's
novice, apprentice, journeyman. I'm just thinking Final Fantasy ranks in crafting.
Sure.
The entire R Free Folk subreddit is all HBO employees.
What is that subreddit? I'm not familiar with that one.
Free Folk. It is essentially the subreddit for people to shit on Game of Thrones openly and joyfully.
Oh. People got a lot of time, huh?
Yep.
Are you a shitter or not?
I mean, I can't say I've enjoyed the past couple seasons compared to the first 5 or so.
Are you ready for another hot audio meme? Mm-hmm. All right, so
lay it on me.
I think of this because Phil, I saw you post this. Think of a beautiful horse being drawn. And it's very detailed. The tail looks so good. So much time was spent on this tail.
It's the best horse's ass.
All right. Now the horse's hind leg. Okay, it looks pretty good. The horse's back. Okay, getting a little sketchy. Horse's front leg. That kind of looks like a stick. The horse's face, just a circle with a smile on it. And now look at the bottom of it. Oh, it looks like it's season 1 of Game of Thrones on the left, moving into season 8.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Audio meme. You're welcome.
Man, so good. So good.
Brilliant. Picture of Gandalf waving his head up and down.
I had something to say about Game of Thrones, but I forgot what it was. Oh well, I'll remember it
You get it.
later.
That's okay.
Eventually.
Eventually.
So Phil, you gonna keep playing this, and we'll check in with you to see how your progress has gone.
Ooh, I like it. We'll have our own Might and Magic 3 correspondent. Phil's on the beat.
No.
Unfortunately, Truncate Silence is going to ruin your perfect comedic timing there.
Well, do you have anything else to say about? Please go
I
on.
had considered potentially playing this game further, but it was hard at first. Then I kind of got drawn into the potential of this game, and then it got to the point where it was just so frustrating to navigate through that I kind of I'm 36. I have so many more important things to do with my time than
Bragger.
Yeah. Than spend 100 hours navigating this game. I've
got a wife and a son and a career.
I thought about finishing this game. I really did.
Yeah.
I was like, I could just play this in my off time. But then I got to that dungeon I was talking about that was pit floor. Mm-hmm. And I really this is the one I streamed, and I was really trying to get through that dungeon. And then I died, and I still had 30 minutes left in the stream, but I was like, you know what? I think I'm just done playing this game because I don't really... No, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get to this dungeon, and I can't commit to that, so I am done. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm just done with the game.
Yep.
And you were still on the first of 10 different islands that you travel to.
Yeah, very early in the game.
This is a massive, expansive game.
Which could be much shorter, like Tyler said earlier, if 80% of your time playing it wasn't spent scrolling through menus on a controller.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
do like the game over screen. When you die, a dragon's mouth closes in on the screen, like it's eating your. It's like you're playing GoldenEye, remember? And it eats your screen.
Dragon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the worst of the whammies and press your luck.
Well, do you guys have any achievements for Might and Magic 3 Isles of Terra?
No.
Tyler, do you?
Off the backs of our forefathers.
Yes, right, of course.
Spend a generation in labor for the future party.
All right. How much money do you think you'd make doing that?
Probably not very
Not
much.
a lot,
No.
right?
We have to go through 10 generations.
Yeah. You could just set up a script, right? That's just dedicated to that. You know how I don't know, when I played UO, I would set up a macro, an automated macro overnight, and then wake up and be like, yay, I'm a GM fisherman. You could do that and then come back in the morning and be like, I have 1,000 gold.
Yeah, pretty much. Then see AD&D homebrew. You unlock that by making your own party from scratch. So Phil, you unlock that.
I have a spin-off of that achievement, and it's called ADD group, and it's you don't stop making characters. You just make a character, and then you're like, all right, let's make another character.
This is fun.
Yeah, this is fun. Let's just make characters. So what you do is you spend 50 hours, which is how long howlongtobeat.com said this game would take. You just spend 50 hours just making characters.
Nature's Vengeance. That's when you play with nothing but druids.
All right.
All druid party.
Okay. Not opening many chests.
Nope, not at all. You don't need them.
Actually, I think you don't you to save the first guy in town for that first quest. I think you have to pick a lock because he's like a gaseous man who's hidden inside a chest.
What, 2 guys, a girl, and a ninja, and that is where you just make a party with 2 guys, a girl, and a ninja.
Okay,
and you can unlock your chest.
All right.
That's all I got.
That was really good because I know you came up with all of those off the top of your head.
Oh, I'm
very impressed. I'm not much better. I didn't make any of my own. I just got them from Twitch chat. The first achievement I got is coming from Josh ATC, and that achievement is Phil Saves the Day. In order to unlock Phil Saves the Day, you unlock that when you are enlightened by Phil Hawkins on how to properly save the game after playing for 7 hours. Which Josh is being generous. I feel like I had more hours into it before Phil told me how to save the game. because I was just saving at ends. I thought that's how you save the game, but nope. You can move your cursor over to the diamond, and which is also your compass, and you can save the game from there. So pro tip. Next achievement I got is coming in from Doc Bustos. And that achievement is Insane Ailment Posse. And in order to unlock Insane Ailment Posse, you unlock that when your entire party is afflicted with the insane ailment, my ninja. Which is very, very possible to do in the dungeon that I was in, because there were a bunch of floating heads that, Phil, I think you said looked like Ted Koppel.
Tex Koppel.
Tex Koppel. Their mouths open comically and scream at you and make you insane.
Yeah, they look like business Imhotep just opening his mouth wide.
In the last... I'm sorry, Phil, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the monster animations are pretty entertaining, and scrolling through the different monsters that we didn't get to see.
Yeah,
it looks like they get just that shit crazier. Didn't get a chance to see Big Titty Goth Stone Giant, which I was really hoping to.
Yeah, which does exist. But the other thing is, everything's pretty much redrawn for the SNES. So it's like, if you look at a moose rat in the SNES version of the game and compare it to the DOS version, they're completely different. I mean, they both look like rats, but they're just drawn differently.
The gnome Cruz Prat with his band Moose Rats.
Elk Mouse. The last achievement I got is coming from T. Goodman. Tommy too, but only I'm allowed to call him that, is Empty Banana Hammock. In order to unlock Empty Banana Hammock, you need to search a skeleton's loincloth only to find jewelry, probably a cock ring. Because not only are there chests in the game, but there is a dungeon that is just full of skeletons hanging from walls. Yeah, it's just full of cock rings. It's like the font where all cock rings in the Isles of Terra come from. The cock ring mine.
The cock ring matrix. Finally.
That's all I got.
I've got one that I just came up with on the fly.
Excellent.
It is called Death Bog, the bog that eats people. And you get that by getting to the region of Death Bog, which...
What do you get when
pretty bad.
What do you get when you get to Mutant Mountains?
You cut out again, or I am cutting out.
What do you get? What achievement do you unlock when you get to Mutant Mountains?
Something X-Men related. Something
Kitty Pride.
That's literally something X-Men related.
Magneto was right. Get to the Mutant Mountains and die.
I got some questions for you boys. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yes.
I want to know how much this game is. If you were to buy Might and Magic 3: The Isles of Terra used for the Super Nintendo, how much do you think you would pay for it on average? Tyler, you go first.
See, I feel like Phil probably has a gem on his hands.
Yeah.
Because I imagine there's not many copies of this game floating around out there. So I'm going to aim high at like $62.
$62?
Wow.
All right. Phil, what do you think?
I'm going to go on the low end, and I think it's around $14.95.
All right, $14.95. Actual retail value of Might and Magic 3: The Isles of Terra loose for the Super Nintendo according to PriceCharting.com at the time of this recording is $20. $20 even.
Oh, damn.
Is it worth it? No from Phil.
I guess it depends on your circumstances.
Are you planning on being on a desert island?
Is it 1994? $20? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it 2019? $20? Nah.
Sorry.
On a price per hour basis, you will get your money back.
That's true.
You will be spending pennies per hour on this entertainment.
You guys want to take a stab at how much this game goes for new?
$89.
What do you think, Phil?
$65.
$149.77.
Dang.
And let's face it, that's probably the game slapped in a fake printed box.
Did you keep your box, Phil? Your box in your instruction manual?
I think I bought this loose from a local game store back in my 20s.
Yeah, the local wizard. You got it from the local apothecary. Tyler.
Yes, Dave.
I've had a lot of fun today.
Yeah, man.
Talking about Might and Magic 3.
Spend time with Phil.
Hanging out with our friend Phil.
Yeah.
It's been nice.
Oh, yes.
But before we close things out, I have 2 more questions for you. The first of which is, Tyler,
Yes, Dave.
if you were to give this game a beard that sums up how you feel about it, what kind of beard would it be?
I would give it the beard of a dwarven chia pet. So it's a chia pet shaped like a dwarf where you can grow its beard.
Okay.
But you have to grow its beard one sprout at a time. And if you misplace any one sprout, they all die.
All right. Tyler,
Yes, Dave.
if you were to give this game a pair of glasses that sums up how you feel about it, what kind of glasses would it be?
I would give it a special, magical, super jeweler's monocle to where it has all sorts of different lenses and shapes and shades and the right combination. You can look and automatically identify any magic item. But you have to craft it yourself. And all you have is a chunk of iron ore and some sand.
All right. I can dig that analogy. Also, I'd like to point out that when I was a child, I desperately wanted a chia pet. And I'm glad I didn't get one because later in life, also known as This Year, Chris Black of several episodes fame got one and brought it into work. Those things fucking stink.
Oh, really?
They stink, yeah.
Because we got Artsy AJ for her birthday, Bob Ross Chia Pet. She was very excited about it. Haven't seen her use it yet, so maybe she started to and was like, nah.
Maybe the Duck Dynasty Chia Pet was just like made super stinky on purpose. Like maybe that's like a selling feature.
Smells like real duck blinds.
But I don't know. I just assumed it's all chia.
Good times, good times.
That's it. That's all I got. There's
all we
only
got?
one more thing to do, I think.
All right.
I feel like we did a much better job talking about this game than we've done in a while.
Than any other Might and Magic 3 podcast
true.
in existence.
I challenge another Might and Magic 3 podcast.
I don't know. Yeah. Phil, did you look? Is there another Might and Magic 3 podcast out there?
When I searched for Might and Magic 3 Isles of Terra podcast, nothing came up.
We did it.
So
The world's premiere, Might and Magic 3, the Isles of Terra.
I challenge
episode.
all of our friends who have video game podcasts to also do an episode of Might and Magic 3, The Isles of Terra.
We dare you.
Experience Grind Nerdy Thursday, Hops and Heroes digital cartridge. Come on.
Do it. Loaded cart. You got to do
Loaded
it
cart,
too.
that's true.
You thought you got out of this, didn't you?
Yeah, almost.
You didn't. Choctopus, do it.
Yeah, do some videos.
Right. In the middle of
Do
your
some-
Smash Brothers
Do
videos.
some tutorials.
Right.
Just every other one is a Might and Magic 3 Isles of Terra walkthrough.
How to play as Gnome Robber.
If you're gonna main gnome robber, what you gotta do?
Right? You got to watch for that gargoyle to wave his arm. A lot of people don't know this, but that's the main thing.
Oh shit! What Catch Penny Gaming? Come on, I gotta keep going.
Got to do it. Yeah, got to do it. You all have to do it. Mm-hmm. You want to know? You want to figure out what we're going to play next?
God, yes. Fuck yes. Come on. All right.
We're going to consult the randomizer.
Lay out our prayer mat.
Uh-huh.
All right. Light some candles.
Face our mat in a random direction.
Exact. Perfect.
Uh-huh.
All of us different directions.
Yep.
Close your eye. Well, you have to like Wild and Crazy Kids. Blindfold ourselves. Put our head on a bat. Spin around.
Yes.
Whole bunch of times, and then we set and we point.
Man, Wild and Crazy Kids. Anytime Wild and Crazy Kids is brought up, I think about that fucking Space Invaders episode where they do real life Space Invaders with water balloons. They have like kids line up like an army, and then they just throw water balloons off of like the roof of a studio. And if a kid's hit with a water balloon, they're out.
It's pretty good. We should do that
I know.
next prom.
Yeah.
From the top of the hotel.
The water balloons are filled with the Jägermeister.
All right.
You ready?
Yes, I
ready?
am. Uh-huh.
Let's consult the randomizer.
All hail the randomizer.
All hail the randomizer.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. May he saith once more, as he spake upon the earth, no whammies, stop.
605.
Okay, so it's not early. It's not Alfred Chicken.
605. Super Strike Eagle.
All right.
Has anyone heard of this game?
I assume it's a like military, side-scrolling military like type shooter.
I don't know.
Super Strike Eagle, or you just get a baseball bat, and you go hit eagles.
Or yeah, it's a baseball game with eagles. Like they shoot eggs at you and then you hit it with a bat. Or it's a bowling game. That'd probably be Super Strike Turkey though.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to know what it is. I want to see if we can find the connection. How was the randomizer blessed us
Prepare
or
to be
cursed us?
disappointed.
Oh, are you on it, Phil? What is it?
It is a jet like dogfighting.
I like
game.
dogfighting games. Okay.
So it's like Pilot Wings, but with an F-15.
Okay. All right. I might be into this.
Okay.
And worse graphics.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it looks like someone wiped their butt with Mode 7.
All right. I think you coined a new phrase that we can use to help market this podcast.
I love this intro screen that's just Super Strike Eagle in like the Star Trek font.
All right.
And then just a picture of a Super Nintendo controller.
Oh, man, it's going to be fun doing art for the next episode. It has been so fucking hard to make the art look decent for the games that we've been talking about. Hopefully it's got excellent box art.
So, who out there is familiar with combat flight simulators? Anybody? Come on. What's the connection here?
Oh, yeah. I think the randomizer was...
We've got a week to figure out what wisdom the randomizer has in coming up with this.
Yeah, it's true. I don't see the matrix in this one.
Well, okay. Well, I'm gonna stretch because I do have a Pilot Wings feel from it, and I do know one long lost friend who does love Pilot Wings, so maybe he'll be interested.
Hashtag more Miller.
Bring him. You're goddamn right.
Yeah, let's get Miller.
Maybe it could bring Sean Miller back to us.
Let's try to get Miller. He would probably hate this game.
Yep.
And that would be great.
Yeah, let's just wind Miller up. Just let him go.
Yeah, I still really want to do an episode on Cat Mario with Miller.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I want to
stream.
Yes, I want to invite Miller over to my house and just like set him down in front of Cat Mario and be like, "I'll be right next to you, buddy. Go ahead."
I'm gonna go sit up here in the side of the room. You just go. What the fuck is this game? Just play it.
It's fine.
Just play it.
Every time you die, I'm gonna throw an egg at you.
If you make it to the end, every level you make it to the end. Here's $20.
I don't think Miller can be bought like that.
By the end, he'll be giving you $20. I'm fucking out of here, Dave. Fuck you. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. The next episode is over
Super Strike
Eagle.
I tried to say that with you guys, but I think it's probably going to come through delayed.
Yeah.
So I also forgot Eagle by the end. Super Strike Beagle?
Yeah.
Eagle.
I wish everyone could have seen the panic on Tyler's face.
What is it? I already forgot.
What was the name of the bar in Three's Company? The Regal Beagle? Was that it? I don't know. You said Beagle.
I didn't watch. Well, Beagle, I was just thinking Super Strike Beagle is like the Red Baron and Snoopy.
Yeah, it's like a Snoopy game, totally. There was a great Snoopy dogfighting game. There honestly was on Xbox 360.
Damn.
Yeah. I probably enjoyed it because I was really good at it, and I was really good at it because it was me playing with a bunch of children.
Let's see. What all do I say? So don't miss the next episode. Super Strike Eagle. Oh yeah, sorry, I got to burp a little bit on that one. We got some other shit like, hey, TADPOG, we're on Facebook. Mm-hmm. I'm very happy. Our amount of likes makes me feel very good. I'm very happy. So you can find our episode announcements, some general info on the TADPOG page. But if you want the real,
not a lot of action,
real shit,
not a lot of action on the page.
That deep shit.
The actions in the group, yeah.
TADPOG Nation behind the paywall of you asking to come in. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
pretty much. Yeah, you just ask if you can get in there.
Let's see, shirts.tadpog.com. We've got another one in the works.
Yes, remember when we made a call out to Jonathan Wilson to make a Tad Dogs t-shirt? Oh, fuck. We have been in contact.
Oh, man, he came through in such an amazing, amazing way.
Yep, it's not done yet, but it's a great start.
Yeah.
An excellent start.
TADPOG_podcast on Instagram. If you want to send us something, TADPOG Studios, care of Nicole and Nance, P.O. Box 3785, Paducah, Kentucky, 42002. You can call us, 270-883-2555.
Yep.
We've got a Twitter,
TADPOG
_podcast.
It's cucumbersome.
Twitter. It's cucumbersome. I realize. And hey, you want to leave us a review on like iTunes?
That'd be cool.
I still need to give away that other.
Got one more Ryu hoodie.
Yeah, one more Ryu hoodie I got to give away, and I still need to send Nate Glines his. It's been a rough week.
Man, I hope he's not bummed out waiting at his mailbox every day. Go into his mailbox and be like, "Is today the day I get the hoodie?"
He's in Utah. It's 20 miles away, and he has to walk out there. But hey, iTunes review. We love them. I'll pull stuff from there. And hey, say if there's like a game you want us to play, leave it in your iTunes review. And we promise we will get to that.
When we're done with the randomizers list. So buckle up. It's going to be 11 years from now.
Eventually.
I make no commitments now. I make no like I am in randomizer mode. You have activated my focus, and it's on right now.
I've given you a God to believe in for the first time ever.
Yeah, and it feels about what I felt like it would feel like. Yeah, like a lot of labor.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm also we're on Twitch. I'll be streaming Super Strike Eagle on Sunday at 8:30 Central. If you'd like to come and join and hang out, check out how good the game is. If you're a Super Strike Eagle fan, come please join and like tell me how to play the game. I will say that it is really fun. Phil and Tyler, it was really fun like talking to you about Might and Magic 3 as I was playing it. Like just like I mean that was like really cool. Just to like swap like stories and tips and stuff like that. It is, yeah. It's like the playground. So I guess that's a long way of me saying come to twitch.tv/TADPOG and _podcast. It's cucumbersome. And that's the playground. That's the playground. We got a Patreon if you enjoyed this. I urge you to kick in $1 and you get access to a whole bunch of bonus content that we've done on there. We've got a whole like waifu pillow shoot that people seem to really enjoy. Our most recent Patreon bonus episode is us with Brainy Jr. And I want to enunciate Brainy Jr. because several people have told me that up until that bonus episode release, they assumed she was Brady Jr. So Brainy Jr. It's a really good episode.
I realize I have a bunch of kids, but not Brady Jr. Brainy Jr.
You can find us there. Just search for TADPOG on Patreon, and we'd appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Phil, thank you so much for your labor of love.
Thank you, guys.
Playing this game and coming on, and it's wonderful. It's
yeah, man.
Episode.
Really, really good to have you back on.
Yes, it's been fantastic. I'm already looking forward for the next time.
Eye of the Beholder or Wizardry 5.
Yeah, because you gave a pretty good like 25, 30 game list. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty light. Okay, you can get him 100. We've got 600 more. I could come on for like 100 of them. I also made the same offer to Kyle Collins, and he gave me like 4. And I was like, come on, man. I mean, Phil gave me like 25.
I mean, I literally just went through my collection and was just like, I own this. I divided it into games that I own and I have some sort of connection to that I like or dislike, and games that I own, like this one, and have just like, meh. It's a shoulder shrug. So I have many more of those shoulder shrug games than I have like games that I actually am passionate about in one way.
Phil, we're happy to give you a reason to play games that you are ambiguous about.
And that's the thing. This thing I was pretty meh about, and I had a great time doing this. So yeah, anything and everything. I'm excited to get back on.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, our theme song is Moves by Sigmar Drive. Link that track in the show notes at TADPOG.com. How do you guys want to close this out?
As our favorite Family Feud host.
All right.
Whew, okay. Gotta think, make a decision, kind of rehearse it in my head. How does it sound?
I don't want to sound racist, so I'll go with a different one.
I mean, it's Steve Harvey, but we don't know if we'll all go with Steve Harvey. Okay.
All right. Are we all ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So until next time, Tropical Capricorn.
I don't think so.
Louis Anderson.
Yeah, you're Louis Anderson. Yeah. Phil?
Richard Karn.
Okay. That was Dick Dawson.
Yeah.
Everyone could tell.
Yeah.
Well, now we have to kiss on mic to get that Foley for Richard Dawson.
All right, one more time.
How do you horribly penis somebody? I'll show you one more time. That's a Drawn Together reference for anybody.
Oh yeah, for real.
Not for play.
play.
God, that was a good show.
It was a good show. The other night, I farted, and the fart was so hot that I thought I had shit myself. Like I farted like sitting down, like I didn't lift a cheek up. I just was like, it's coming out. And I farted and it like got trapped in that space between my thighs and my balls. And it was like, it just felt like a mass, a hot mass. And I was like, I shit myself.
That's 100% humidity.
Yeah. And that's what it was. I stood up and immediately felt better.
That's my favorite Dave Matthews song. The space between my thighs and balls.